If we do not take care of ourselves to even understand and define or redefine what success looks like for ourselves, then we are going to copy and run after everyone else's success. And then we are going to be deflated. We are going to lose the momentum. And when you lose the momentum, so many women, and I'm not basing this talk solely on women because men need the confidence as well, and they need to be able to pick. They also have so many things as well to deal with. Those that are responsible, the irresponsible ones, they tend to have all the feathers down, and they push a feather only when they need it. Meanwhile, for a woman, everything must move. So now, if you are not confident to stand for yourself, to stand up for yourself in any of all those spheres, and you become a yes person, that means you are living according to someone else's script. That is why they say, women long ago used to do this. I am not a woman long ago. I am a woman of this generation. Onsanze entunula. You know, our mothers, I am not our mothers. I am Hilda of 2025. Okay? A Hilda that is exposed. Yes, I might not be exposed in some areas because we all have things to learn, new things to learn, but at least I am somewhere. So there are certain things that I'm not going to take lightly. There are certain things I'm not going to accept. Right? That is why some people will read confidence as arrogance. But that is a person that wanted to manipulate you. If a person wants to manipulate you for their own gain, not for a win-win situation, then they will call it arrogance. They will call it uncultured. They will call it you were not taught well. You were not brought up well. Why? Because it is disrespectful to even have another opinion. You must have the same opinion like your master or the one that wants you to have that opinion. So some of us have been trained to accept. But guess what? There is nothing that lasts forever. There are some of us that wake up along the road and we are like, no, this is not the kind of life I want. I want a different kind of life. So, and then you start by feeling an irritation, yeah? An irritation inside of you. And you start by feeling a dissatisfaction, yeah? And sometimes that dissatisfaction that you have been feeling, and I know that we all have been feeling it at every different level, it calls for reinvention. That there is a phase of you that you are done with. Yeah? There are things that you managed to do in that season, but now you can no longer go on with them. Because your eyes have been opened. Your ears have heard what you have not been, and you are mature enough now to decide the kind of life that you want to actually live. So when I was doing the confidence code, what I had in mind, and we have already started, whatever notes that are coming, they will find us as we go. When I was looking at confidence code, I was looking at a person that wants to reimagine their life, that wants to reinvent their life, that wants to go to the next level. Because confidence is the only thing that can help us risk enough to step in the unknown. It's the only thing that will cause that dissatisfaction to make sense. And you're like, you know what, I don't mind. I will get a new job. I don't know how they're going to treat me. I will knock on the jobs, or I will ditch this relationship even without having any other relationship. Or I will actually go and take my contracts or take my my proposals to different companies. I will knock on the doors and I will not care whether I am rejected, whether I am turned down, whether my proposal is torn immediately after I face the door. I just don't mind. But I have been where I am long enough, and this is not where I want to be. I need a totally different kind of life. And that is the person that I had. And sometimes we think confidence is something that is nice to have, but not a must-have. It is something that is nice to have, but not a must-have. And now I want us to know it together that confidence is a must-have. Confidence has to be intentional. You have to be able to think in the moment that, oh, I'm unstoppable. And in my heart of hearts, I'm like, are you really unstoppable? Or you're busy still looking for people's validation. You're still people pleasing. You're shrinking in places where you should stand up and be able to present. When they tell you, you know, say something, then you're like, please don't pick me, please pick another. Even a prayer at a table when you're going to eat. How many of us have been caught off guard? Someone requests you to pray and you feel like, oh my God, where am I going to get the words? My prayer is not going to sound as good. The other pastor is the one to pray because that pastor has been praying every day. So I think they have words. Yeah. When in the company they tell you that, oh, you're going to be one of the people that are going to present. Ha! Not too low before 4. Come on now. Like, what do I talk about? What do I talk about? How many minutes are they going to be? Those people ask hard questions. No, I think, and then some of us will even fall sick the day before the presentation. And we will not. How many of us as business owners have negotiated instead of going at the forefront and saying, you know what, oh, the client has come. And then you're like, you know what, oh my God, a good day, Mumvubo. He has come to the trap. Okay, I am here. Okay, so what do you want exactly? No, so this is what we have, and this is what we have, and this is how we can do it. We are better than all the others on the market and everything. Now, this is what business owners do. They hire other people to be bandages. They will even say, but for me, I'm not so good at speaking on phone. I am not so good at receiving people. Oloza ba receiving people baina PhD kuva mu gulu. Oba baina musai gwa bulu. Until someone actually either takes your clients or something happens, and then you're like, you know what? I need to fight. I need to be able to fight. And now you're learning afresh. After 10 years of running that business, you're running afresh how to gain clients, how to keep clients, how to relate with them. Some of us even just to send a follow-up message of how did the product work? Or, you know, if you need further help, you're like, for me, I'm not good at that. Helen, please do it. Call the customer, call the client. Yeah, and then the other person calls the client. But remember, the client is yours. The client is not Helen's. Do you see what it does to us? So it is a must-have, right? Let's go, okay? I just want to show us where we lose the points so that when we get to the frameworks, you actually know that I can implement these things. These things are doable. Other people have done them, and I can actually do them and succeed, right? Okay, so, okay. I think it's taking time. Please get whoever needs to help so that we can be able to go. Okay, now, I talked about us asking ourselves, if we were created for more, what is the more? Yeah? Because so many of us know we were created for more, but something is holding us back. What is the more? Let's just share briefly. Created for more, what I hear from her is, you can actually, you don't have to just hinge on one thing, you can do multiple things and they actually become successful. Yeah, that you have it inside of you to be that, but something is holding you back. And there's a time I was asking the people in 100 Days of Becoming, and they were telling me, Coach, there's, you know, for some reason I just don't get to do it. I don't get to follow up that client. For some reason, Kale, I didn't, for some reason. And I know for so many of us have given us the same reason. You don't give the reason, but for some reason. And I usually say that when you're giving fake excuses, your body betrays you. Do you know how it betrays you? Your hands, you even scratch yourself, you know, for some reason, you know, like, yes, like you scratch your head, you even look around, your body is betraying you, it is telling you, no, there is no reason. Boswadde. Lero bikulemye. Tolina chakola chi chakulimba. So, if you were created more, anyone else? Yes, please. So you knew that you were not created for the confines. That is a sweet thing. Other people will call you like a bragging person. Yeah? I said I will never be employed a day in my life. And I think people were just laughing because I come from the poorest background. Because my dreams should have been, I get a job, even if it is paying me 300,000. I have never touched 300,000 in my life. Like that will be a lot of money. And then I'm the firstborn at home. And then at home they don't have food. I'm the one with the lugezi that I will never be employed a day. As in, be kwataganira wa. Tebi kwatagana, right? So our more sometimes will never make sense to anyone else. Your more will not make sense to the person that paid school fees, will not make sense to the person that married you and expected you to be a housewife or expected you to be a wife akole bitonotono tagenda nnyo towawala nnyo. Don't go beyond. It will not make sense to some people, to your employers, that you want to be employed and then you have a side hustle and then all of a sudden you're on social media, you're creating content. Do you know there are people that have been fired because they were creating content? Yeah. Yes. I've seen so many that have come to accelerated mentorship. And as soon as their boss sees them advertising a webinar, and then they have written a book, and then even the bosses joke about it, and they're like, for you, you're becoming too much. It seems you're getting a lot of money out there, so I think it's better we let you go. As in, if it's any person in their right mind, they would know, I want a person that has purpose with their lives. That means they will give me better than anyone that has not figured themselves out. Right? But if you see them as an intimidation, that means there is a part of you that knows you can do more, but you're seeing someone else that is doing more, and how dare they? Wanji? That's why someone will train you in sales, and then you will make better sales than them, and then they will go behind your back and start saying weird things. And you're like, if you trained me, you should be the one pushing me. You should be the one applauding me. You should be the one that is proud to say, I'm proudly associated. But again, if you go behind their back and start pulling them down, even before the people that they're getting businesses from, that is because lack of confidence makes you get into competition with everyone. When you lack confidence, everyone is your competition. Guess what? Even the person you don't know on social media is your competition. You will be following someone and they will be selling the same merchandise, and then you unfollow them. Yes. Because how dare they? Because for you, you're growing slowly. And for them, they've decided, they are in Pakwachi, Simani tomorrow they are in Nigeria. Simani the other day they are in Zambezi. But a business. Where business yote vanga komu Kampala. Wanji? Ogendo Club, people are saying, oh, I admire you, I want to be like you. And you're like, but no one is admiring you. Why would they admire you? What have you given them to admire? Nafe tuli bagezi, tumanye ebitunyumira n'ebitatunyumira, tojja tulisa bitawoma. Wanji? So you see how you end up being competition with people, and then because you lack confidence, instead of saying, by the time they can do that, that means there's something I'm not doing right. Can I go back to my drawing board and be able to decide what I can do better? If I need to copy, I will copy. Yes. If I need to execute exactly what they are doing, if it is working for them, I'm going to try and execute it in my own way and see whether it works for me until I can find my own formula. That is now a confident person that says, you know what, I'm going to see what they're doing and then I'm going to try and do it in my own way and see whether it actually works. So, more money, more happiness in relationships, more happiness in marriages. Where you are is not where you are supposed to be. I've seen so many people sign up for accelerated mentorship, and some of the marriages were actually totally nearly gone. The moment they started increasing their value, the moment they started looking better, because I don't know what siba siga bizigo, wanji? Singa nalimba siga bizigo ngamba wa lipstick, ngamba siba kubuvi dandi gambie konti kale. But you guys, have you not seen let me tell you, like, it is automatic when you start improving yourself. Everything around you changes. People start looking at you different. Your husband looks at you different. Because now they are second guessing themselves. They're like, people have come to meet me face to face. And they're like, mbadempuli mkazi wange tava kuzumu buli kaseera njagala kulaba Bahati oyo. I don't know how many husbands have met me, but over 50. They come and they're like, I want to see Bahati. And then some of them will make a demand, I want to see Bahati with her husband. As in, they want to see the man of this woman that is changing their women's lives. And changing their women's lives, because sometimes when you get confident, you become a headache in some people's lives. Yes. Because now you were predictable, but now you're unpredictable. Your income is unpredictable. Wanji? They knew you did not have money, but today you have pink lipstick, the other day you have black one, the other day you have maroon, and then the way you clothe is not the same, because confidence defines your life. Waliwo ebintu byotagenda kuddamu kwambala, waliwo enviri zotagenda kuddamu kuteeka ku mutwe. Yeah? Even the way you are at home. You'll be like, you know what, let me invest in lounge suits. So that when I'm at home, I'm actually in lounge suits. I'm not in bivava, basiri mulesu za brownie. Ntadde kakapale k'omwana ku mutwe. Ntambula amagulu gali eno gasaawa obubaliga. Kwegamba, there is a way, when your money increases, the way you walk changes. The food you order changes. Even the food you buy for your children changes. Where you take them to play changes. How you appear at church changes. How you say praise the Lord changes. Am I lying? No. I am not abantu babatebeekoza. When your life upgrades, everything around you, let me tell you, even the kind of men you date changes. Yes. Like you look at a person and you're not looking at their now. You're looking at their 20 years from now. And you're like, I am a woman who loves money. And I am a woman who is willing to make money. Will this man, with his kind of myopic vision, allow me to make money? If I'm invited to go abroad to go and make money, won't he say, Wanji? So now, you look at that and you're like, you know what, we will stop at coffee and a movie, we will smile, and then we will stop at that. Brother, I can hug you, but that is as far as it can go. And then when you find another person that has a vision, you click, that it talks about purpose, talks about growing, talks about these things, and you're like, you know what, I can see myself growing with this person, yeah? I can see myself growing with this person. Oba, you try to settle for the one that you're settling for, but you're like, njamwe soberera. Confidence yange kolachi. Bwana gano genda wanonga mutaiza, nga mugamba nino chikola, nga ngenda, nga nkoma nga azimbye. Ogwo kusatu nja koma nga tazimbye. Wanji? They tell me I'm very good at spoiling people. But the reason, the only way I spoil people is by infusing confidence. That is one thing that I discovered. The only way I spoil people is by infusing confidence. Now, those that want to manipulate will always call you a big-headed person or a person that cannot. So, the more is in so many forms. The more is better health. You wake up not tired. Guys, some of us, even we are losing sleep. Yeah? Some of us, we are totally worried, and you're even asking yourself, but you know what? I'm not even losing weight, but I am constantly worried. Yeah? You look into your future, and let me tell you, there is this thing God gave us as women. We worry so much about the future. Do you have it? Everyone else will be thinking about today. But for you, you will be thinking about, what happens when we can no longer afford this house? What happens when we can no longer, there is a way we run ahead of ourselves, which is a good thing. It is a protective thing because we are naturals. We never want to have you ever been there and you bought many more blankets than you need, and you're like, on a cold day, my children should have enough blankets. And you find yourself buying more and more. You buy food that you don't need, but you're like, just in case. Yeah? So that means we are naturals, and so we do not want the people that we nurture to suffer. So we try to protect them. But because of lack of confidence, we have let so many people create leads on us. And so we stay in the constant worry of worrying about tomorrow, but we cannot do anything right now. Because if you worry about tomorrow and you are saving, if you worry about tomorrow and you are investing, the more your investment goes. Have you ever seen the joy that comes when your investment grows, when you watch it grow? The freer version of you comes out. The one that is not counting coins, the ones that, the one that can sleep better, the one that can smile better, the one that does not think that, by the way, oh, my life hinges on one person, and if that one person goes, I am dead. You're like, no, my life is not hinging on one person. So I might as well know that I'm an equal partner, and we can plan for the future better, right? Yeah. I can contribute while another person contributes. I just wanted us to get the promise for today when I came into this. I'm not the kind to follow slides strictly, but again, I just wanted us to have a picture of what our lives usually actually look like. Because it's very hard for us to sometimes put it in a picture form. Sometimes we know some of these things separately, but we do not put them together. The reason as to why they have this workshop is that we will have a wider view of how the lack of confidence is actually affecting us, all right? Okay, so some of us are going through, we have missed so many opportunities. And you know it in your life that you have missed so many opportunities. That if you had created that brand and you were consistent and persistent at making that brand, you would not have missed those opportunities. But others put themselves forward, and for you, you didn't put yourself forward. And then you say, I'm an introvert. But you are hiding behind being an introvert, all right? Some of us, the constant self-doubt. Before you do anything, you are doubting, and we have not even done certain things, all right? The fear of speaking up, the financial loss, the career stagnation, yeah? You're like, I would have been far by now, but I am stagnated in one place. I feel the dissatisfaction. I feel the money is not enough, clearly. Let me tell you, there is no boss who will ever give you enough money. No, right? I'm an employer, but I think about so many things, right? So many. So that means you will be one of the things that people think about. So while you are stagnating, there is someone else that is thinking about other things. They're not even thinking about you. That means you are the only person that has your own back. You alone. All right? So you go through the career stagnation, the broken relationships. Broken relationships, the over-apologizing. But when we talk about this, the promise is by today, by the time we finish this, you should be able to be on the confidence transformation, that you should be able to seize opportunities. You go with shaking legs, you go with doubting mind, but you're like, here I am. I am going to sign that book deal, and then I'm going to write that book. I am actually going to ditch this job, and I don't have any other job, but while I'm at this job, maybe I'm going to put myself forward for another job. The unshakable belief that I can do anything, that everything is figure-outable. If another human being has ever done it, then I can actually do it. The bold communication. Yeah? How many of us could use bold communication? Yeah? I know all of us could use bold, because sometimes we have hushed our voices, and you're like, you know what, I better not say anything about that. I better not, because we are protecting certain things. We don't want the boats to rock. We don't want people to hate us. We don't want anything to happen to us. But again, our lives are on standstill, and that's not where we actually want to be. All right? So, to have the magnetic presence. Some of us, we have talked about, so many of us have businesses. The magnetic presence, that when you walk into the place, everyone recognizes. Everyone recognizes. Have you seen what, and I think you will have to remind me the name, the lady that makes Gonja crisps and all those things, what are they called? Newman's. And Sam's. But Newman's, I think at some point in her life, I've not heard about her story, but I think at some point in her life, she went back to the drawing board. She started the business. It was moving. People were buying, but I think she wanted to go to another level. Now, I think she sat down and said, you know what? There are opportunities I'm leaving on the table. Every event that is happening around town has human beings that have mouths, they have families, they have children, their children go to school, they take snacks to school. So I am going to be at every event, and guess what? I am going to print the biggest teardrops, and I will make sure that they're at every entrance of the. So I am going to collaborate. While she was doing things herself, yeah, maybe that was a level, a certain ladder where she was, but after some time, she was like, you know what? I'm taking big opportunities. Yeah, I am actually taking over Uganda and the entertainment industry. Balino kumpuliramu. So while you sit here and you're like, Newman's yabawadde sente meka. Laba bwa branding nze buli wamu. She's thinking about the money that is going to flow in. She's thinking about how many people have seen, because how branding works is when you see Newman's, when you see the name, when you go to supermarket, when you see what you have already seen, your mind tells you that is the best thing because you saw its branding somewhere. So do you know how much returns she's getting because of that? She's investing, but that's a bold investment. a bold investment. Chances are she was investing and she was not making that money when she was starting that level of operation. But that is where confidence comes in. Confidence is built by one thing and one thing only. We will talk about other frameworks, but it is built on repetition. It is built on persistence. How many of us quit on one trial? You try something once, it does not work, and you're like, you know what? That is it. We hate to be laughed at. We wait to be a point of, you know, of laughter. We hate to look like we are ashamed. We hate to fail. Yeah? But again, it's in the failing that we learn the lessons and how to do things better. So when you fail today, and you fail tomorrow, and you fail the other day, the reason as to why someone, after some time, you get confident is because your brain has gathered enough evidence. Your brain has gathered enough evidence to tell it that this is true, this is possible. Because our brains were wired for survival. They were not wired for success. Our brains, all our brains, were wired for survival. As in, it reads a threat, and it will tell you to go away from the threat. Now, everything that you have never done in your life looks like a threat. Yeah? Have you ever walked into a hotel, and it's a new hotel, yeah? And you're walking around, but it's like you don't want to knock the walls, you don't want to, like, yeah. And then the second day, notandika kusalimba. It's like you have known the place. And then the other day, you're even calling the waiters and the receptionists because now they know you. Why? The power of repetition. Why do you think that sometimes when you go to restaurants, we sit in the same place? It doesn't happen to you. You look for that one corner and sit until you start even telling the waiters, but my seat has been taken. Was it your seat? Yeah, you even call it your corner. Why? For some of us, when we started traveling, yeah? So for some of us, if you have flown, you will be, before you, on your first journey, you'll be like, kakati, obudde bwendeberera okubusoma obulungi ennyonyi n'endeka. Oba bwengenda kutamina enfu. Yeah? And you're thinking about those things. You're thinking about the cages that you packed, and you're like, now, if I get there, they have to remove some things. Now, like, you're thinking about all those things. Now, after you have traveled once, twice, thrice, you're like, even if they leave me, I will figure it out. As in, yeah, me, I work with an extra budget, because if I have to figure out a hotel and maybe I had an overlay that is too long and I don't want, or by the way, I even misread the time and I arrived at a wrong time. Yes, I've ever arrived at a wrong time. And definitely they told me, go upstairs and change your ticket and pay more money. And then I was like I didn't even argue because I knew I was in wrong. I was like, you know what, let me just go add more money, get another, go and board. Yeah? But before that, you can even dream ngenyonyegwa. You can even dream ngabakulese. The brain is so bad. It works against us, okay? So, I just want you to look at this. I hope that some of us have been able to take a picture. But I want you to be able to fine-tune your mind and tell you that that is the destination. We fine-tune our minds, yeah, and tell ourselves that that is, let's go, and tell us that that is what we want. Now, a book is coming up about the confidence code. I just wanted to give you a snippet, okay? A snippet of what confidence means. Now, look at businesses and finances. Because some of us can take a whole overview without getting an eagle's eye on particular places. Some of us are undervaluing our services and we are charging too little. Why? Because we think people are not going to be able to pay. And then we see other people that are charging 10 times us, but they are getting clients. And you're like, neighbor chikola batia. There is a place that they moved out of, and they did certain things. Yes, the way they speak about their products, the way they will network, the way they will, it will be totally different. Where you don't want to go, while you're thinking, I will go to these places of Nigina, Kale, our church, Kale. We want places that are familiar, right? Because our brains are created for survival, so we must live longer. Because that is what your brain tells you. You can even reach there and you hold your breath. You even don't want to breathe, have you ever seen, gone to places that have those top-notch people, eh? Yeah. They behave like they don't see you. They behave like you don't matter. They behave even like they just have their own class, eh? Yeah? So now, when you go there, the best thing, you sit in Kasonda, even when they bring those bites. Have they ever brought those bites? And you're like, am I supposed to eat? Am I supposed to remove a glass of champagne as well? And you're like, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. Until the function is finished and you have not picked anything. Now, a person that is confident knows the reason as to why they are there. They're like, in that room, there are 5 people that I must talk to. I must get their cards, I must get their numbers, they must know me and what I need, the value I bring on the table. So I am not going to go and, you look so good, no. I'm going to have a firm handshake. I'm going to behave like them. So I'm not going to go dressed in bivavava. I am going to dress well. I will know, is it a black tie event? Is it, what is it? So I will dress for the occasion and I will show up and I will not lift a big bag. If it is a clutch, if it's supposed to be, yes, appear like you understand the assignment. And then I am going to walk to you, like, not like I am negotiating in myself. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to look away. Do you know that sometimes we manifest certain things? When you walk towards someone and you're like, now she's going to walk away. Now she ends up walking away. How you walk to someone when you are in a networking event that you already calculated for the past 2 months, and you're like, I'm going there for 5 people and 5 people alone. How you walk towards them and the smile that you have put is showing them, I am coming towards you and I mean what I am coming to say. And guess what? Even if there is someone that is calling them, they will wait to shake a hand with you. Why? Because the way you walked, the way you're putting on, the kind of perfume that you have on, that can even be a conversation opener. They're like, that's a sweet floral scent. What's that? And they're like, I'm putting on Gucci. yeah. This is Gucci, which whatever it is that it is. But you're like, oh, I'm so and so. And if you learned how to pitch, yeah, and you know that it's within a minute, I have a minute as the attention for this person, because there are other interesting people that are calling them. They are not going to tell them anything. Maybe they're joking about their child. Maybe they're joking about a horse. Or they're joking, or they're talking about a funeral for a cat. Yes, those are the conversations for rich people. A funeral for a dog. So someone is calling them, oh, Stella, I was told that your dog died. And for you, you have 1 minute. And then you're coming, you're like, you know what? So nice to meet you. I've heard all the good things about you. If you start that conversation, my mind is switched off. It has switched off. I am not hearing you. And, by the way, it is a natural response. Never call people wicked. The busier you get, the more money you get, you start sieving who comes into your circles. It is automatic. So, Bambi, don't call them wicked. So, if you have 1 minute, use it wisely. Yeah? Use it wisely. When you go to someone and you tell them the service, did you hear how she introduced herself? I help women, yeah, with weight loss and nutrition and stuff like that. You have already spoken to her mind if she was on her weight loss. If you're talking about I help perimenopausal women or menopausal women to balance their hormones and to live happy lives, to reclaim their joy, and then to be able to avoid insomnia and stuff like that. You're speaking my language, baby. I would want that hub that you have. Whatever it is that you're selling, I am buying. I would even tell you that, you know what, can I advance you some money? Because maybe it's something I've been looking for, but I didn't hear anyone tell me about it. Or there are so many things that I have seen abroad, and then I'm like, I wish they were at home. And all of a sudden, someone comes with the same solution. And then I'm like, oh my God, where have you been my whole life? I even want to advance you some money right now because I don't want to wait. But you had 1 minute, you used it well. You used it well. So that is the goal, struggling to lose sales. Because what is the only agenda for any business is sales, right? The only agenda. We are not there to look cute. We are not there to look good. We are not there to post sweet pictures on social media. The only reason that's why we actually create content is to get sales. So now, if you even fear to close a sale, or to just even showcase your business because of lack of confidence, the hesitation in the pitch. We've talked about that, right? You hesitate. And when I read your hesitation clearly, I'm giving my attention to to the turkey race. Have you seen turkey races? In Uganda, you have not seen turkey races. Mwe turkey races zibayitira kowa. Abantu nga twambala ebikofira ne tukwata champagne ne tugenda ku turkey race. You people. Hey, people have issues. Okay. The procrastinating, you have this offer, but you're just not launching. Yeah? Or you have this thing, you know it very well, you crafted it very well, even if you're selling plans, you're selling financial or policies, as in you have it all in your head. When you're talking to your colleague, you're nailing point by point. But bakugambe, we got you a chance in this company to come and talk about your product. You're like, kakati abando nonye so and so to come. I think they present better. Do you think they're the only ones that present better? If you wanted to learn, wouldn't you learn? If you started, even if with hesitations, and you gave yourself 10 minutes and spoke about the crucial points, the next time you do it, you will do it better. And the next time you do it, you will do it better. So the hesitation, the settling for less, yeah, because you don't believe you deserve more. Some of us have settled for corner shops, and yet we would have had grocery shops, right? We have corner shops. Corner shops are running out of, because most of us, by the time we come out of town, we have shopped. So the shops on the villages actually are only getting the things that we forgot. Oh, we forgot this run to the shop. Right? But you have failed to scale your business or to even break even in your sales because you just don't believe you deserve more. But you know others are actually brave and avoiding uncomfortable and profitable opportunities. Fear of money conversations. How many of us fear money conversations? Be honest. If anything involves money, you're like, oh, I'm telling them too much. There's a way we even want to gauge. You're like the person that I am talking to. That's why when someone is referring to someone to you, you even ask them, kakati, like middle class, lower class, or high class. As in, you want to come when you have gauged so that you can know how to present your issue. But the thing is, your price is your price. You set it, you set it. Throw it out there. If someone does not buy, they were not your client. But make sure that what we usually talk about, and I don't know how this will be able to move, what we usually talk about when it comes to the funnels, yeah, you have your funnel ready. That this is the lead generation, right? The lead generation. This is the nurturing. Okay? And then this is the conversion. Yeah? So now the nurturing, if you are confident, that means you're going to have so much in the lead generation. As in the people that are going to know about the services you offer, the business that you do, like every one of us has something to sell, right? Every one of us has something to sell. And we sell ourselves every day, even if it is to our bosses, yeah? So that means you will have so many people coming in to the lead generation, and then when they come, because you're putting yourself out there, and then you have the capacity to nurture them because you are confident. You're following up on them, you're sending them messages, and sometimes you're just nurturing on social media. You're telling them about, you're looking at their pain points, and you're talking about their pain points in a funny way, and you're telling them, guys, you know, I mean, you need this, you actually need this, and these are the importances, and this is what, you know, your children need, and this is, and so you're nurturing them. So even when they came in and they thought they needed this, but they're not yet willing to decide, when you nurture them well, sometimes they become clients, right? And then the conversion, usually the ones that are trickling into the conversion to actually buy from you are usually fewer. But the thing is, do you see that at every level you need confidence? You need confidence to have more eyeballs and more visibility. You need confidence to be able to nurture them persistently. Remember, we say that you repeat it. When you create content, you don't create content today and sleep. No. You create content tomorrow. It has to be an engine, self-sustaining engine. And then you have to like it. You have to love it. That, you know what? I just love turning on that camera and talking about my business, talking about what I offer, talking about what it does to people, right? And then, because of that, so many people are actually trickling in and they are buying. And do you know what happens? This works as a loop, okay? And the loop is, it feeds back into this with more confidence. When you come back the second round to actually do the lead generation, as in the power that you use, the momentum that you use, because you have touched money. When you touch money, then you know there is more where that came from. There is more people that actually need these services. So now, how you dress changes, how you show up changes, how you speak changes. You touched some money, yeah? And now you're more confident to bring in more people, and you're more confident to nurture more people, and the cycle begins to happen that you're a millionaire, and soon you'll be to become a billionaire. Why? Because you decided it was not comfortable. No, it was not. And because our brains are wired to protect us, and they're not wired for success, if our brains were wired for success, I think all of us will be successful. Yeah? But our brains, all of them, the people that have become successful, they swim against the tide. They're like, the sweetest thing would have been the comfort. But I don't want to be comfortable. The sweetest thing would have been, and then there are some of us that are not just in the comfort zone, but we made some money to a certain extent, and now we are costing. We have ever done good things. Now that is not called comfort, it is called costing. We are repeating the same things, but we know we must do something different in order to get different results. But now we are, and sometimes we are like, nabikola kola da, you know? Nabikola kola da. Do you know there are some people that look successful when you look at them, but they are going down? Because of familiarity of systems. So because many, and I will tell you this, most people that are in the celebrity world, most people that are famous, that is the #1 trap of success. The moment you get a bit successful, the moment you get a bit of visibility, and then you start saying, bananda baba tyanga ankole echo. Bananda baba tyanga ankole echo. So gendo kulabanga, people are spending more than they are earning, and now they are going down because they are not willing to do what they did to get out of the comfort zone. When they were upcoming, they were doing everything. Yeah? Because do you know that you do so much when poverty is chasing you? Yes. When poverty is chasing you, when you don't have food, when you don't have where to stay, that is why some people got out of the lower level. But do you know the trap that we have now is the middle class. Most people are trapped in the middle class, and that is lack of confidence to be able to go back to the drawing board, know how they can master whatever they need to master to go to the next level. And Deuteronomy tells us, remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives the ability to produce wealth. So if he gives you the ability, yeah, like he created you with the ability. He created you with a desire. Do you know everything that we need? He created you with a desire. He created you with admiration. He created you with uniqueness. He created you with everything. So he has given you the ability. But he says he blesses the works of your hands, right? Yeah. So now he has given you a principle that you must put your hands to work so I can bless you. And principles are the pathways to the promises. And he did not say do until 10%. No, he knows that you can do 100%. So he says, whatever you find to do, do it with all your heart. So tell me, if God did not give you a cheat code for getting whatever you want, yeah? He says that do it with all your... And then he says the power of life and death is in... But he says, he goes ahead to say, but choose so that you and your descendants will have a better life. So even now, I'm telling you that the power of confidence and lack of confidence is with you. No one is going to do it for you. But choose confidence so that you and your descendants may eat good things. So that you and that you will become that wise man that leaves inheritance for his children's children. Not his children. That means by the time you leave inheritance for children's children, that means your children are satisfied. Are we together? Okay, so let's go, Lavender. Let's look at career and leadership, because some of us also belong to that tier. We don't like speaking up in meetings. Yeah? We see the men and we shrink because a man has a beard, because a man, is, eloquent in speech, and because they have done this, and you know that by nature they know they are leaders. So when they get to a place whether they're speaking sense or no sense, they are speaking. And then women, you can come with your PhD and you reach in a place where other people are not, there are more people that are more confident than you who do not even have a half of what you have. right? So, not speaking up in meetings. Understand what they are going to talk about, read about it, show up, and when they want to, as in, have an angle. Do you know that sometimes we just have to allow ourselves to be confident? We are already confident, but we just have to allow it to pop up. You're like, let me let this brilliance pop up. Let me give them a dose of this brilliance. And then you bring an angle and they're like, I did not think about it that way. I think let's try and actually do that. Yeah? And the more you say something, the next time, before you know it, you're not speaking in meetings, but every after the meeting, they come and knock on your office and they're like, now, we were talking about this, but I want to know your take. I want to know your angle. Why? Because they know that you have some sensible contribution. And before you know it, sometimes, do you know that as employers, we do not even go and publicly say, oh, we have promoted so and so, but Ogendo Kulaba, your money has been increased. No, like no one else's money has been increased, but your money has been increased without any kind of publicity. And before you know it, they have given you an office. Before you know it, they have started throwing some work on you that is actually at decision-making level. Why? The simple thing as speaking up. Some of us, sometimes we know what we are going to say. How many of us have ever been in school, you know the answer, but you just don't, you're not even confident enough to give the answer, you see? And yet you have it. So you see others mumbling. Someone else mumbles and then you mutter it under your breath, or your neighbor, you tell them, you know it's supposed to be like this, you know it's supposed to be like this. But you said nothing. And then how many times have you walked away from a meeting and you beat yourself up for words you did not say? Or even for a meeting with a spouse. You're like, now, I'm going to pour my heart out. You even request for the meeting. And then you go bulungi, you go out. They buy you ebyokulya, bweba kugulira ebyokulya, and you know you're dealing with a manipulative person. So now you didn't even read or study how to deal with a manipulative person. When you deal with a manipulative person, you don't give them too much time to speak, or even when they speak, you remain on your agenda. And then you don't come with your emotions. Mbo, you've come to cry. Mbo, a manipulative person is going to hear you out. No, write your agenda, bulungi. This is the agenda for this meeting. Yeah? And put it in the wordings that you want it to be. So that, and then you're like, you know what, your turn to speak will come. I am speaking, and I am going to finish every one of my points. And then when they want to react in the middle, but no, not time for reacting. We will talk about it later, but I must be able to tell you whatever it is that is painful. And I must be able to show you that for every pain, there is a repercussion. I am a human being. I can't just stay in pain for the rest of my life. Even if I am the best person in the world, I will explode or I will get tired. So these things need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed urgently. And then they will start, when you sleep, they will start checking your phone. Who is she chatting with? Who is influencing her? Why? You actually spoke up. Yeah? So fear of public speaking, avoiding promotions and leadership. Do you know there are people who avoid promotions? Do you know that sometimes we are double standard? We want something, but we talk ourselves out of it. You're like, you admire that position and how people, and you're like, but that position, there is fire. You know, they're always in meetings, they're always doing what? You are talking yourself out of it. And then after that, you go back, we disturb God too much. We go back to our prayer chambers and we're like, God, I need a promotion. Promotion sounds good on your mouth, but you do not want to do what causes the promotion. Why? That is that discrepancy. We said boldness is the bridge between where you are, or between the potential, because the potential is already inside of you, between the potential and the purpose or the destiny. So boldness is the bridge. Sometimes you need to speak to yourself. You remember how David spoke to himself and said, you know what, my soul, be grateful. I think the soul has a way of being ungrateful. And you're like, be grateful. You punch it into position. You punch your mind into position. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I know I hold this fear, but I will put on like the executive I am. I am going to show up for that meeting. I am actually going to speak. And when they ask me how much money do you want to be paid, I will have a figure in my head and I will allow it to come out of my mouth. Sometimes you have a figure in your head and then your mouth starts bargaining. Your mouth speaks half the figure. And sometimes you're surprised. You're like, what's coming out of my mouth? I meant something else. But you have already said it, and guess what? Because I'm into recruitment, when you say your figure and it is way below what I was giving you, that is an answered prayer. Like I'm taking the offer immediately because I'm not going to negotiate on your behalf. I'm not going to tell you, but you know what? Do you know that you deserved better than this? Or even our payment scale was way higher than this. No. Half the time in my mind, and I will tell you this, and this happens to every employer, I will be like, you know what? Let me let her begin. As we go along and I see how useful she is becoming, I can always slap on some money because I still have budget, but they actually negotiated lower than they deserve. And guess what? The slapping on the money can come after 2 years. That means you worked 2 good years getting quarter of the payment that you were supposed to get because your mouth trembled. It vibrated in a place where I did not have. Your brain had a different, and if some wives here, your husband is telling you something and you know it that you don't want it, but you talk yourself out of saying no and giving your reasons. You're like, you know, they read it as disrespect. You know, all men. Your man is not all men. Your man is yours and you must customize him to you. What works in other people's marriages does not work in yours. What worked in your mother might not work in yours. You're a different human being with different temperaments. You're married to a different human being with different temperaments. So you tell them, no, it's not going to be like this. But confidence speaks from information. It has a point of view that is informed because you have to know that when I say no, these are the consequences. So if I am willing to take on the consequences of me asking for promotion are 2. Yes, in an employer's mind, that when I go and ask for a promotion, I'll be like, it's long overdue. There are people I even look at and I'm like, it's long overdue. We should have had this conversation 2 years ago. But because as an employer, you are busy. You're thinking about every other thing. You're thinking about tax, you're thinking about all the companies, you're thinking about like you're reconciling everything, and then on top of what we have. Those of you that came early, you know what we talked about. You throw in this, you throw in this. So as an employer, and then you're employing more than 100 people, so you don't have time to think on someone. That is why when some people come out and they do different things, special things, you're able to notice them and you're able to give them more thought. Especially if they speak in meetings, especially when they bring an opinion that could help the company. They are actually promoting themselves in your mind because your mind is too busy. Do we get what I'm saying? So when you come and negotiate your promotion, if I've already thought about it but I'm not willing to have the conversation, then I will tell you, you know what, come back on Monday or come back on after the week after because my schedule will be down and then we can have this conversation. And sometimes you will know that when you start asking for promotion of some bosses, that is the time when they are thinking about your exit. So now do you see the both consequences? So you must be able to think that, you know what? I cannot work for this same money for the next 1 year. I cannot, clearly. So I am either asking for a promotion and an increment, and if it's not possible, that means I have to have an exit plan. Because sometimes I must go horizontal in order to go vertical. Right? Because some of us know it's only one way we must go vertical. But there is such a thing as moving out and then moving up. Even in career and leadership, there are so many things that are actually happening. So many things where we negotiate ourselves out of what we are supposed to have. And that is not what God has intended for us. God has intended better things for us. All right? So, in Romans 8:19 says that creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. To be revealed. Yeah? Now, some of us, we hate the revealing part. We don't like the revealing part. And yet we carry solutions, guys. I want you to say it after me, that I carry solutions. I carry solutions. That can heal the world. That can change the world. How many women's images are you changing? That is a solution. That is healing. That there is me who is uncoordinated. So when I meet someone, an image consultant that is coordinated, that can tell me that, you know what? With your body, vakukapati. Because it makes you like an apple. Oberanga katuni. Eno wagulu wali munene eno wansi weti pioti. Yagamba no. This is not the way it's supposed to be. And of course, they will use a better language with it. They'll be like, you know what, you will look good in A-line kind of skirts. Yeah, and indeed, when you, because you know mulembe gwa kapati, you will be like, but Neda, but what? And then have you seen when women start to grow, there is a way they look weird in pants? Yeah. When they start to grow, eh? Am I the only one who sees it? Like their bodies start to shape weirdly. So now you're putting on kapati and a 24-year-old is putting on kapati. You look like Mike Tyson, and then this a cartoon of Mike Tyson, and this one is looking at as Kardashian. And you're thinking, na yeah, chiche chiganye. Chiche chiganye. And of course, no one is going to come to you and tell you that, you know what, I've been to be ganye. Sometimes you just have to be very unsatisfied, okay? So we talked about the business and finances. Yeah, let's go to, we've talked about the leadership. Is that coming up next? I actually have them here, so if you're taking long. It's here. Okay, career and leadership. I want us to go to go through that very quickly. But avoiding networking, we talked about over-reliance on a boss or mentor for validation. How many of us have been there? You're over-relying, yeah? You're thinking like this person is holding all my keys. If this person, as in everything about me, yeah? Mukama agenda koze sono omuntu omu. Some of us are over-relying on pastors. Some of us are and we are like this one, eh? But the thing is, they are also human beings. They fail. They also struggle with certain things, yeah? So you must be able to take back the power. Let's go, Lavender. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and sound mind. A sound mind. In Luganda, it brings out so well. It says that, endo was entamiru kufu. Some of us are like we are drunkard all the time. Yeah, we don't know what is happening in our lives. We are earning the way we are earning. It's like everything is an accident. Who we are dating, who we get married to, the kind of money that we are making. It's like we're just bumping into things. We are never intentional to sit down and say, how much money do I want to make this month? How much money? We all have the capability of deciding how much money. All of us in this room. We have the capability to decide how much money we can make in a month. But guess what? Some of us are earning accidentally. Whenever you want is when you open the business, the clients that know you come, you're not putting in extra effort, and then you end up getting the same money, less than the rent. So okuba bituli all the time. You're getting money, you're robbing from your pocket to make sure that the business is there. So the business is performative. It is a shadow. It is not a business.